Are you sick and tired of gambling your hard-earned money on Madden packs? Look no further than my sponsor, MMOEXP, for the cheapest and most reliable MUT coins on the market. And don't forget to use code Ferdy at checkout for 5% off. What's going on, guys? Today, we are back updating the quarterback tier list. Over the last 3 weeks, we've gotten a bunch of new names, some really good names and some really bad names as well. And we're going to talk about all the names that have come out over the last 3 weeks. So before we get started, if you are part of the 63% of people who watch the videos and are not subscribed, let's change that right now. Head down there, hit the subscribe button, turn those notifications. We, of course, post daily Madden 24 content, gameplays, tier lists. Really, it's your one-stop shop for all of your Ultimate Team content is right here. And by the way, tonight I will be live over on Twitch at about 8 p.m., 8:30 Eastern time. We're going to play a little bit of Madden, play a little bit of Fort. If you want to come through, a link for the Twitch channel is down in the description. But let's just get started. Okay, the first name we got is Ultimate Legend Vince Young. And these Ultimate Legends this year are just really bad. Like, I have to say it. There's, the first two we're going to look at are both Ultimate Legend quarterbacks, and they're just not good. Unfortunately, they're just not. So, Vince Young, yes, he's got good stats. Stats tell half the story of a card. Of course, the abilities are probably more than half of a value of a card because, stats are great, but the abilities are always going to be over the stats. But still, good speed, good accuracy. If we head down here as a ball carrier, he's got a 95 juke move, things like that. And then for the abilities, he doesn't get set feet or a hot route master or even pass lead discounted. He is able to get set feet lead, but at that point, you go gift wrapped, gunslinger, set feet. That setup for 6 AP, it is just not great. It's just not great for 6 AP. It's not. When you have guys like Doug Williams who get the God stack and then some for 6 AP with a better release and things like that. So, Vince Young, I know it's crazy, but I think he actually is a C-tier level quarterback. Like, I would rather have this version of Joe Flacco. I probably would rather have him, big body with the slinger one and all that stuff than Vince Young with his release and, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Maybe that's too low for Vince. Maybe I'm tripping, but let me know. And the other one is Dan Marino. Dan Marino, like, I would hear an argument for him being worse than Vince because Vince at least has some mobility in his game. And even kind of going back to Vince, he's not like he's like an elite ball carrier either, so it's not like you really have that to lean on. But Dan Marino, 79 speed, 85 acceleration, and then for the abilities, he does also get the what release is it? Traditional 3 release, which is it's not traditional 4. Don't get it twisted. But he does get pass lead and then protected or pass lead and fearless, depending on what you want to do, which is 5 AP right there. Then if you want hot route master, that's another 3 AP. Which is going to put you at 8 AP, and then if you want, you could go with like, if you probably wouldn't go gift wrap because you want to spend abilities elsewhere, but, it's just not ideal setups, not ideal releases, and you're not even going to be able to get Gunslinger on the build. That's another thing about some of these cards. Some of these cards, they might have some other good discounts, but I just like having that Gunslinger built in. And, I am kind of doing this tier list based on if you are using hot route master and based on if you are using set feet lead. So if you're like someone that doesn't need hot route master, I'll mention some quarterbacks that I still like. Like, I still think William Perry can play if you don't need hot route master at this point of the year. He can definitely still play, definitely still a stud. But I'll talk about some of the cards whenever they do pop up. Dan Marino, I don't love the card. I'm gonna be honest, I'm not a fan. I'm gonna put Dan, like, I think I'd rather have Kurt Warner's card. Both are slow. At least Kurt does get a special X factor. At least he gets that. But I don't want to use any of those 2 Ultimate Legend quarterbacks. They're not worth it. Don't do it. Don't use them, please. And next up, we got quarterback Genki Force Derek Carr. This guy he really could have been the best quarterback in the game. There was a real shot he could have been. His release wasn't perfect. Like, Gen 2 is just consistent. We all know what Gen 2 is able to do, but man, this card, like, with this ability stacking and special X factors, a Genki Force QB could have been the best in the game. Unfortunately, they did not give him set feet lead discounted. If he was able to get like a 2 AP set feet in this slot right here, and you can go, set feet, or maybe like let's say 2 AP set feet, like a 1 AP hot route master. If you had set feet for 2, hot route, you're at 3, and then you're able to get conductor for free, or even quick draw, then gunslinger, like long range for 1. Like, being able to kind of just throw on those extra abilities, and you also do get the X factors as well on top of it. It would have been really glitchy for Derek Carr. Unfortunately, this card, I didn't hate this card. The only problem was I just didn't like the lack of a set feet lead, because when I did the gameplay on him, I didn't use set feet. Obviously, you can still make the build with set feet similar to Vince Young, but if you're paying 5 AP for set feet lead in March at this point in the year, I don't know what to tell you. So I still think he's A tier. I still think his abilities make him usable. I didn't really hate him. I'm gonna be honest. I really didn't. Like I had it. You still have a bunch of good abilities that I'm not gonna say cover up the fact that you don't get set feet lead, but it makes it easier compared to guys where you're only getting like one ability and then you don't have set feet lead, or like, you know what I mean? So you're able to get gunslinger, you're able to get even like conductor, quick draw is nice, or even high point dead eye is nice too. Even hot route master, then gift wrap for free. Like getting all that, it's just nice, and you also have the X factors on top of it. So Derek Carr, put him below A tier just because of flexibility and things like that, because he does get so many different abilities. Okay, the next card up is Randall Cunningham, but before we get started on this guy, there's one adjustment I have to make. I was just kind of reviewing some of these names on here. I think Mahomes should be in S tier. Even the 96 Mahomes, I think, should still be in S tier. He'll probably be a low S tier option, but I just wanted to make that change real quick because him being able to get the God stack for 5 AP is very good. But Randall Cunningham, not able to get the God stack, and this would be an example of a card where if you don't need Hot Route Master, Randall's actually pretty good. Randall's not bad at all. Gen 2 release, which is the same as Derek Carr's, it's just consistent. You know what I mean? That's the main thing about the release. But I would say, set feet lead for 3 is probably the move on Randall. And then you would probably toss on like or maybe you go, but it's the same discount. Maybe you could go set feet and Hot Route Master for 6, and then you get dashing for 0, or not dashing, running gun for 0. Maybe you do that on the card. But again, to me, if he had 2 player specific release ability, 2 player specific, discount ability slots, and you were able to get set feet and hot route for 4, and then you were also able to get running gun, he would easily be up here in S tier. But the lack of that second ability bucket, I think does still put him at the high A tier. I do think the card is good, but compared to these other guys that get the God stack with better releases, I don't think I can really see myself putting Randall into S tier. Okay, next up we got Joe Flacco, and this card straight up didn't really ever get its time in the light, man, because he's good. I mean, if you guys remember this version of Joe Flacco, when he came back to the Browns, they dropped this card. He was a stud. Like, I thought he was the best QB in the game when he came out. Even then, he was kind of underhyped in my opinion. But Joe Flacco, they gave him 85 speed, good enough acceleration where he can definitely roll out. Here are the accuracy stats. Obviously not going to be a runner, but the Slinger 1 release at 6'6", 245 is very, very nice. And the thing about this card is that he does get 2 player-specific ability slots, but no Hot Route Master discounted. But it's still not the end of the world because set feet lead is discounted by so much, where it's not the end of the world if you want to go Hot Route Master, like quick draw, and then set feet lead, and then Hot Route Master for only 4 AP. It's really not a bad setup. It really is not. And set feet being as discounted as it is, it doesn't make me miss an X factor as much on this card. Like, if it was a tactician or a backyard QB or something like that, this card would probably be a top 2 QB in the game right now, in my opinion. But he's actually very good. And again, spending 4 AP on a quarterback, or even 5 AP on a quarterback, where you're able to get a gift wrap, set feet lead, quick draw, and Hot Route Master, that's pretty up to par with the meta in the game right now. So Joe Flacco, I'm gonna put him. He's able to move pretty well. I'm between S and A tier on Joe Flacco. Like, I really am. I think this card is actually really good. And who would have thought Joe Flacco would be the best honors limited time QB to come out? Like, better than Stroud, better than Lamar. Man. I guess we'll put Flacco at A tier for now, but I can definitely see myself moving Flacco up a tier by the end of this video. Okay, let's talk a card that is very similar now to Joe Flacco, and that's Aaron Rodgers. I think this card is interesting because you are able to get hot route and set feet for just 3 AP. And if people don't know why I kind of like these cards so much, because I do believe Slinger 1 is the second best release in the game right now. I think number 1 is Traditional 4. There's no question about it. Traditional 4 is the best release in the game. It's the best deep release. It's the most consistent. But I think Slinger 1, you can still use it without Gunslinger. And I think, hot route, set feet for 3 AP is nice, and you're also able to toss on that gift wrap as well. And then, it does get a little tough because then maybe you'd want to run. I mean, it's kind of the same discounts if you just threw Gunslinger on him too, because it's 2 AP save. I guess it's 3 AP save here, but yeah, if you were to go Gunslinger for free, 7 feet, you're at 2, then you're at 5, then you're at 6. So, and you're a little bit slower too on the Rodgers card as well. So, I think Aaron Rodgers, this card is actually, I would say, worse than Joe Flacco, which is crazy for me to say. especially because Aaron Rodgers just recently came out, and Aaron Rodgers technically does get Hot Route Master and set feet for cheaper. Wait, does he? No, not really, right? No, I mean, yeah, he does. What am I talking about? But, you know, Flacco has the better speed and the better height and things like that. So I would actually lean Flacco over Aaron Rodgers, believe it or not. So there you go. And again, this would be an example of someone like, if you don't need Hot Route Master, you would 100% probably value Randall Cunningham over Rodgers, or you would probably even value someone like William Perry over Rodgers. Like, you know, if you, it comes down to, I think it just comes down if you need Hot Route Master or not. Because Hot Route Master, for me personally, I think there's three kinds of players: those that don't need it, those that rely on it, and those that just like having it in their back pocket. And I think I'm that kind of player where I don't need it in a bunch of my schemes, but you know, at late in the game when someone's starting to kind of catch on to what you're doing, I think having that Hot Route Master is nice, and that's why I like some of the cards that are going to be in the higher S tier. You know, you're going to see that in a second, but that's why I like some of these other cards, because you don't need to spend any AP for the Hot Route Master, and by the time you need it, it's there for you. So, if we're of course going to get there, well, let's get on to the next quarterback. And next up, we got Dak Prescott. And to be honest, I was surprised that this card even ended up where he ended up. When I tried him out, I wasn't expecting much, but they gave him Slinger 1. He's a good ball carrier. He's got good accuracy stats across the board, good speed, and even the abilities, like, they're not bad. They at least gave him a discount hot route and a discount set feet. So you're able to go hot route, set feet for 5 AP. You want to go with the gift wrap, that'll cost you 6. But again, Slinger 1, you don't need Gunslinger. You don't need it like you do on like your Gen 2 release or something like that, in my opinion. You don't really need it. So Dak, to me, you know, the Hot Route Master set feet combo is cheaper on Rodgers. It's cheaper. Is it cheaper on Flacco? Yes, it's cheaper on Flacco. It's only 4 AP for Flacco, 5 AP for Dak, and then Aaron Rodgers gets it for 3 AP. But I think Flacco is like the perfect mix of Rodgers and Dak, and then I think, you know, Dak doesn't get the best ability stack, but you are going to get the speed, and then Rodgers gets the best ability stack, but doesn't have the speed to back it up. So that's kind of my opinion on the 3 Slinger 1 QBs near the top right now. This is exactly how I would rate them. But I do like Dak. He's a good card, but I do not think he is the best Dallas Cowboy quarterback that is in the game right now. And that is, of course, Troy Aikman. I believe he's the best Dallas Cowboy QB in the game right now. And he does get that X factor that I was talking about where, you know, Hot Route Master turns on, it comes back, it turns on, it comes back. He, of course, is an AKA card, and with him getting the backyard QB, that's exactly what happens. It turns on, it comes back. It turns on, it comes back, as you guys can see right here. So, you know, it's interesting. You know, sometimes you need Hot Route Master, but you just don't have it because you have it in backyard QB. So this definitely applies to the people that, you know, they need it. I mean, they would use it, but they don't rely on it. You know what I mean? And you could, even if you wanted to, you know, he does actually get a really good, like, stack because you're able to go set feet, Gunslinger for free, and you can even go Hot Route Master for just 4 AP, which is actually still very good. And then you can even go with, like, I guess at that point you would probably just go with, like, a backyard QB because you wouldn't really need pass lead elite, because then all that would be adding is you're throwing the run. So, you know, I don't think running Hot Route Master really makes sense on this card because you do somewhat get it with backyard QBs, but you know, this setup, set feet, lead, Gunslinger, and then backyard QB for just 2 AP opens up so much for your offense. Like, it really does. So if you're someone that doesn't really rely on Hot Route Master, even protected, like, it's not bad, right? I do wish that this card was able to get that Omaha that Kurt Warner was able to get. That'd be pretty crazy, but I think this card is very good. You know, Slinger 3, and then you're also able to put Gunslinger on him too to make that release that much better. And I do think Slinger 3 is one of those releases where you do need to have Gunslinger in the stack. So I think Troy Aikman, I think he's S tier. I think he's top of S tier right now. Being able to get a 2 AP setup, you know, that has Gunslinger, that has Hot Route Master, that has, you know, a playmaker in there, that has a set feed in there for cheap. I think is very valuable. So I do think Troy Aikman, yeah, I would put him at number 1 so far. Number 1. Okay, we now have the limited time Ryan Fitzpatrick Fitzmagic card. 88 speed, 94 acceleration. This card has one problem, and that's throwing the run. Throwing the run, this card is not great, even as a ball carrier. You know, he has good trucking. I don't know why they started doing that for Fitzmagic cards, but they simply did. So he's got good trucking, good COD. He's able to move. You can move, you know, using Fitzmagic. But accuracy stats, they all look good until you look at the throw on the run. Release is going to be Slinger 5, which actually isn't bad. Slinger 5 is not bad at all, but the abilities on this card are interesting because he does get pass lead elite for 3, and then I feel like I would probably go pass lead for 3, and then it gets tough with his card's abilities. It really does, because he does get backyard QB. So I would say if you throw the ball in the running gun's obviously good. You saw it with Randall. It's a great ability. So I would probably go running gun, but I would probably go backyard. But it's tough to... No, I don't hate going backyard. I would go backyard QB on Fitzmagic. You're able to get Hot Route Master and Playmaker right there for free. And then I would go pass lead, Gunslinger to cover up that Slinger 5 release and bring it up to par a little bit. So right now we're at 3 AP, and then I would even toss on a gift wrap as well for 4 AP. I think that's a pretty good setup for Fitzmagic. This card is good. And then if you wanted to go with a different setup, you can even go pass lead, hot route, pass lead, hot route, and then you're at 4. And then if you go Gunslinger, you're at 6. And then you would go with a running gun, which would be interesting. I don't know. But this card's got decent flexibility. I think he is an S tier level QB. The ability to roll out, good accuracy stats, gets good flexibility in X factors, even decent flexibility in abilities, and even does get pass lead elite, which some people do like more because you're throwing on the run a lot. So, there's definitely a setup there for Fitzmagic if you do pick him up. I think I might give him a try on my Jets team, but I think he's a pretty solid looking card, and I do think he is an S tier with the mix of speed, abilities, and stats as well. And next up, we got the brand new Team of the Year, Josh Allen. This is a card that I did actually like. I did build him out with a pretty thick level of AP on him. But, 7 feet for 1, hot route for, that's 2 AP right there. That's a very good situation to be in. Hot route and 7 feet right there. And then what I did was, I gave him Gunslinger as well. I gave him 2 AP Gunslinger. So that right there is a 4 AP setup for hot route, 7 feet, and Gunslinger. And if you wanted to, you can go gift wrap as well if you feel like you still need it for 5 AP, which is actually a very good setup. And again, he does get the Slinger 3 release. I believe that you need Gunslinger with Slinger 3. It's just not consistent enough. And when you add that Gunslinger, it adds a lot more of those flick throws, which are the fast ones. I think Slinger 3 it can be a good release, but it's just very inconsistent a lot of the time. So, Josh Allen, good speed. He might be the best ball carrier QB in the game, just based off carrying alone. Like, he's got 95 carrying, 95 juke move, 98 trucking, COD, 99 break tackle. Like, it's crazy how good of a runner he is. And you also just having that 5 AP setup, and you could even argue maybe having, him not having X factors for just 5 AP is actually a better thing, because you don't gotta activate them, or they don't turn on, they don't turn off. So you could argue that. I would put Josh Allen. I think Josh Allen goes in front of Troy Aikman. I know that Aikman does get a god setup, or not a god setup, but a good setup for just 2 AP. But Josh Allen's ability as a runner, and they have the same release, and you are able to make a build on Josh Allen that is at par with the QB meta. That is good enough where he can definitely compete. So I think Josh Allen falls in front of Troy Aikman. He's a very, very good card. Even in front of Mahomes too. I think Josh Allen's actually pretty solid, although I do think he did get overlooked because he doesn't get the X factors. He's still very, very good. All right, next up we got Josh Allen but better. That's pretty much what Anthony Richardson is. Same release. Again, as a ball carrier, you see that like why I think Josh Allen's so damn good, because he gets 95 carrying. So that's like crazy on a QB that can move like he does. Like even a guy like Lamar has low carry, you know what I mean? So that's crazy that they gave him such good carrying. But either way, Anthony Richardson, stud card, all over 90s. 97 speed is crazy. And then we go to the abilities, and of course they're also gonna be very, very good. So you're able to go with him. I would go 7 feet, Gunslinger. That's 2 AP right there. And then I like going. I always still use gift wrap. So gift wrap, 7 feet, Gunslinger. We're at 3 AP right now. And then you're able to go with the right here. Where is it? Where did they put it? Master Tactician. This ability right here for 1 AP, you're then at 5 AP or 4 AP on the card. And with this ability, you basically get 3 abilities for 1 AP, and that's going to be Hot Route Master, that's going to be Playmaker, and that's going to be Conductor. And I love these combine X factors because it feels like by the time, like I said earlier, by the time I feel like I need Hot Route Master, I have it for the rest of the game. It's 9 plays off, and then it's on for the rest of the game. These combine X factors are absolutely busted. So Anthony Richardson, to me, I think he's better than Josh Allen. Again, you get more abilities, you get better speed. I mean, you could argue Allen might have some better stats in there, but those abilities I do think make Anthony Richardson kind of undeniably better than Josh Allen. So I'm gonna put A-Rich at number 1 for now, but will he stay there? And the number 1 QB right now in Madden 24 Ultimate Team is pretty much An easy one, I think it's Bo Jackson. I don't think I could really hear a debate for anybody but Bo Jackson right now in this game. Like, I really don't. I don't know how people say Anthony Richardson. They get the same ability setups pretty much, and the real difference is that Bo gets the best release in the game, while Richardson kind of gets a mid-release. And you can even build out Bo Jackson with Gunslinger on top of having the best release in the game, which is just busted. So you get set feet, Gunslinger, again, we're going to go gift wrap. That's 3 AP. And then for 4 AP, you're able to get Master Tactician, which, again, I just talked about, which is just crazy. So Bo Jackson is the best QB in the game right now. Of course, he does go for cheaper than this. One of the best buys right now is Bo Jackson. And I really don't, like, I always say this sometimes, but I really don't know how you're going to build, like, how they're going to make someone better than Bo. Like, best release in the game. He's really fast. Good enough accuracy stats across the board, really. I don't know. I'm looking at halfback Bo right now. I literally clicked on halfback Bo. I literally clicked on halfback Bo because there's so many damn Bo Jacksons in this game right now. There's what I'm looking for. I was gonna say I knew he had like under 88 throw under pressure, but I was looking at it. I was not seeing that. But I don't know. I don't know how I'm gonna move off Bo Jackson. Best release in the game. Basically perfect speed right now. I don't know, but I'm sure EA will find a way to make me move off Bo Jackson. I don't know how they're gonna do it, but yeah, Bo's best QB in the game right now. Best release, God stack, and then some. Can move well, 98 speed. Like, I don't know, man. So, the top 5 QBs right now in Madden 24 Ultimate Team. I'm going to go Bo at 1, Rich at 2, Josh Allen at 3, Aikman at 4, and then 99 Mahomes at 5. And if you do need to be reminded as to why I have 99 Mahomes there. Mahomes, again, not the best release in the game, but can get +1s as well. Can get +1s. Slinger 2, not the best release, but he does get very good abilities, and that's kind of why he's here. He's able to get, I think my setup was set feet for 3, Gunslinger for 0, and then you go set feet, or sorry, no, then you go gift wrap for 4 AP, and then I believe with backyard QB, which he gets, backyard QB, I believe is the move I would go with, for 0, so it's 4 AP setup on Mahomes, which is the God stack, and then a little bit extra, and then Gunslinger to obviously cover up his release, so he's still top 5 in my opinion. I know people might be talking about Doug Williams being outside the top 5, but I don't know. I think he kind of belongs there. I think it looks good. So yeah, as always, I will see you boys in the next one. Of course, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Make sure you come through to the Twitch stream tonight. Link in the description. See you boys there.